Trump is not only a.rmed, as dangerous. Congress should check his power on S.yria and w.ar. The President of the United States is unstable and flailing, and the Republican Congress is setting him free to make war wherever and whenever he feels like it. As we have cause to say so often these days, if you're not terrified, you're not paying attention. Or, in this case, bloodthirsty. And if you're a Republican member of Congress, you may be all of these things at the same time. Just weeks after he assembled a war cabinet and days after the FBI searched the home, office and hotel room of his associate Michael Cohen, Donald Trump is planning his second military strike on Syria in just over a year. And for second time, he likely will not seek congressional approval for an attack that has no legal authority behind it. More, Stormy Daniels and Donald Trump, brought to you by Pence and religious right. More, lesson for Democrats, get angry at Trump and GOP, not your own candidates. GOP leaders and the House and Senate seem perfectly fine with Trump skipping over their authority to launch an attack that could provoke an escalating reaction from not just Syria, but Iran and Russia, its two sponsors that have interests, assets and personnel inside the country. Maybe these Republicans know something we don't know. Of course, there was a time when the right overwhelmingly argued that a president needed the congressional okay before striking Syria to enforce a red line against Bashar Assad's use of chemical weapons. That time was 2013, when, you guessed it, Barack Obama was president. The GOP Congress had no such compunctions in 2017 when Trump was president and essentially allowed the administration to justify the attack under the War Powers Resolution. This 1973 law epitomizes our modern Congress' ambivalent approach to its exclusive authority to declare war as granted it in Article I, Section 8, Clause 11 of the Constitution. The law constrains the president from non-defensive war without congressional approval while also limiting military deployments that aren't a response to a direct attack to 60 days after the executive branch reports the hostilities to Congress. So basically, it says, don't start a new war of choice. But if you do, let us know and don't do it for more than 2 months. Big help. Not only is law nearly useless and possibly unconstitutional, it only matters if you have a Congress willing to check the president's power and a president willing to let his power be checked. Congress has all but abdicated this role, with shockingly few exceptions. The administration, on the other hand, has made claims of powers beyond those that should exist in a democracy or a nation with laws. President Trump has claimed an extreme view of the president's Article II powers, for example, saying falsely that he has an absolute right to do whatever he wants with the Justice Department, said Justin Florence, a former Obama administration lawyer. More, how to start fixing democracy with the $1.50 a week tax cut Paul Ryan gave you. Policing the USA, a look at race, justice, media. We only have any idea of how far Trump's team thinks his powers extend because questioning before Congress last October helped reveal the existence of a secret memo that outlines those expansive powers. The memo seems to suggest uncheckable unitary powers that even the George W. Bush administration backed off of after his disastrous first term. It needs to be made public and debated in public. The cowardice when it comes to debating and authorizing wars has been bipartisan since the 9/11 attack of 2001. Many politicians came to deeply regret their votes for the Iraq War the following year in the wake of the largest terrorist attack on U.S. soil. That authorization of military force has been used to justify military interventions all around the world against groups that did not even exist 17 years ago. This apathy has drifted us into endless war and now it may be hurtling us into calamity. Like all of his predecessors since Harry Truman, Trump has the ability to launch a nuclear weapon, which is designed primarily to kill mass numbers of civilians, pretty much whenever he wants. That's terrifying enough. What's entirely new here is a president who has no regard for the rule of law and is perfectly willing to merge his self-interests with those of the country he was picked to temporarily lead. Trump declared the FBI raiding of his associate as attack on our country in a true sense. We've gotten used to this sort of ahistorical hyperbole, hoping that despite his bluster there would be some limit to Trump's actions. There's only one institution designed to check this man, and if Congress doesn't do its job, there's no limit to the trouble we face. Jason Sattler, a writer based in Ann Arbor, Michigan, is a member of USA Today's Board of Contributors and host of the Sit and Spin Room podcast. Follow him on Twitter, @lolgip,